God, these guys were brilliant. I'd forgotten all about this record. Down near the bottom of my fancy playlist is a top 40 extra. Carter USM with Sheriff Fat Man. Carter USM means Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine. They performed on this stage that gave off, it was intense white light that gave off a lot of heat, and the dancers would sweat it up. It was part of the band's image, almost kind of grungy in a way. Carter the Unstoppable Sex Machine. Indie rock band. They formed back in 1988. It was two fellows who started this thing, Jim Bob Morrison and the guitarist Les Fruit Bat Carter, and they released 7 albums over a 10-year period. Their first single, it was off the Big Cat label. I wrote it down somewhere. It's called Sheltered Life. My notes are just, I scribbled my notes all over the place. It's not in any order whatsoever. But their first single was Sheltered Life, and then they came out with Sheriff Fat Man. Now, Sheriff Fat Man came out in 1989, and I got it on my fancy playlist in 1991. Well, first off, Sheriff Fat Man is about a slumlord in South London. And this is really, the lyrics are just brilliant. Let me just read you the first part of this. Sheriff Fat Man started out in business as a granny farmer. He was infamous for 15 minutes, and he appeared on Panorama. Then he somehow got on board a Starship Enterprise allowance scheme with a Prince of Wales award for pushing thallium and amphetamines. That's brilliant. I like that Starship Enterprise allowance scheme. That's one of their specialities, was wordplay. The album that this song is off of was called 101 Damnations. It was released in 1990 off the Big Cat label, but then Chrysalis picked it up and they re-released it, I suppose, probably around 1991 or so. And the Damnation album is about life. The theme of this album is about life in London, south of the Thames. A lot of black humor, a lot of cynicism on this album, and of course puns and wordplay. Brilliant, absolutely ingenious wordplay. I'm just going to have to read a little bit off. I'm just going to read this off the fly. Moving up on second base with Nicholas Van What's-His-Face at 6'6" and 100 tons, the undisputed king of the slums, with more alias than Claus Barbie, master butcher of lay on C, just about to take the stage, the one and only hold the front page. Oh my goodness. They're really pissed off at this guy, I'm telling you. It's almost punk. It'd been almost something like maybe the Sex Pistols or maybe Billy Idol and Generation X might have done. Just talking off the top of my head. It's very late. Let's see. One other thing about, well, they broke up in 1998. They started out as 2 guys, but over the years, they went up to 6 guys. They tried to recapture some of their earlier popularity in the late 90s. They hit their peak in 1992 with a Love album. It was called the Love Album. That went to #1 on the album charts in the UK. But they broke up in 1998. But what a brilliant song this was. Carter USM with Sheriff Fat Man. Top 40 extra on my fancy playlist, October the 12th, 1991.